So I was kind of hoping that you folks would see less like firewood chopping, but I'm just realizing that this is just a permanent state of being. Alright, so there, I'm pretty happy with that. So this is all of the wood that I just chopped and stacked. The pile's a bit wonky. It will most likely fall over, but whatever, at least it's chopped. So we are gonna go now into the forest, and we're going to go grab some more rounds that are in the forest. Today my mom and I had a conversation, and she was like, that's like a great log that you chose to take. And I'm like, what? She's like, well, there's a log over here that's like chainsawed. A bunch of pieces are off of it. And I was like, oh, no, that wasn't me. I was like, maybe it's my stepdad. She was like, no, it wasn't either one of us. And so what we're thinking is that the guys who did all the clearing of the land probably saw that I was chainsawing some green trees over here, and we're probably like, hey, this is a great tree. So we think that they are the ones who chainsawed it. So it is, not really raining. I mean, it is. It's spitting. And so I'm here at the tiny house, and we are going to just do our evening routine. This is pretty much the same routine we've been doing all of winter. It's just at winter time, it's been dark at 4 p.m. So we haven't really been able to do much filming. As you folks can probably see, all around me, all of the snow is all gone now. There's no snows, there's no snow piles left anywhere. And yeah, so we've just arrived at the tiny house. We brought water from the main house, so we have water in the tiny house now. And yeah, so now it's time to get ready for relaxing this evening. Hi. I could hear you, but I couldn't see you. Alright, here's what we have. 2 bonus big logs that have knots in them that I can't chop any smaller, and then our little box of kindling. It's not much, but it'll get us through tonight and through tomorrow. Unfortunately, with the weather being more mild, I've gotten into the really bad habit of only chopping kindling as I need it, whereas through the height of winter, I was, you know, like this box was often like full, and I would chop a bunch of extra that would go in a different box as well. So because the weather's more mild, I want to say that I've been lazy, but in actuality, I have just been busy doing springtime stuff. And so keeping up with chopping kindling just hasn't seemed as important as in the middle of winter. Maui! Come on, boyo! Come on, bud! By the way, I was gonna film some nice footage maybe of the fire like after it was lit. But then I realized that my glass is filthy. It is so dirty. Like, I don't know if you folks see, like, it's gray, it's brittle. So then I realized that I never showed you folks how to clean this glass. It's super easy. I've seen other channels do it, and other channels use chemicals, but it's actually like way easier and way simpler than that. Always read your manual, however, because I don't know their wood stove. I don't know, you know, the material that their glass is made out of, and so it is possible that they're using chemicals for a reason. But my wood stove, however, you don't have to use chemicals at all. So all you have to do is when you're wanting to clean your glass, because I really do like having clean glass, and my glass has been so dirty for so long because I've wanted to show you guys, but I've just never filmed it. All you do is you take a piece of newsprint. In this case, this is like a home hardware flyer, an old home hardware flyer. All right, my camera's about to die, so hopefully it'll stay alive. Old newsprint, wet it down a little bit, and then all you do is you just wipe. And so it'll leave these awful streaks. So then what you do is you take a drier piece of newspaper, or sometimes I'll actually just take an entirely new piece of newsprint, like so. So this one's dry. And then just wipe it a little more. And there you go. That's it. Nice and clean. I do hang on to these old newsprints because once they dry out, they'll take a couple of days, but once they dry out, they are good to use for fire starter or whatever. All right, I'm going to use the speaker on my phone because I saw another YouTuber do it and I was like, that is genius. I also have the disturbance in the background, and so I'm hoping that if I use the recording on my phone, that it will drown out the disturbance and you'll be able to hear me more clearly. I have learned about this strategy actually a couple weeks ago, but because I'm normally doing something when I'm talking to you folks and I'm not just standing around talking generally, it's been more difficult. I do want to get another mic, either a mounted mic for my camera or a little mic that I can attach to myself eventually. But in the meantime, this will have to do. And anyway, so I'm standing beside my shed. A family friend dubbed this shed the It Shed, except more vulgar. So, and so what you see here is I have a pallet here, and I've started to stack a little bit of firewood on here. So the challenge with homesteading with your family is that any changes that you want to make to the property often need to be discussed and deliberated and, and everyone has to come to a consensus about the things that they want to change. So the challenge for me has been deciding really where I want to put this shed, because there's a couple of things. First, I'm not really allowed to remove any trees. And second, I want it to be like close to the house, but also there's a bunch of stretches of property that, we want to use for something for the future. And so my strategy for that has basically just been, hi, Betty, is basically just been like, where do you want me to put it? So that's one of the major challenges to homesteading with your family. Anyway, so this I'm hoping will be where my woodshed is. So my woodshed will use the wall of this shed and as one wall, and then it will extend all the way out, probably to this tree, or fairly close to this tree anyway. I need a proper real woodshed this year because I have been using tarps, and I mean, the tarps have been fine. Like, I could probably use tarps this year, but it's just, they're not ideal. I watched another homesteader talk about tarps, actually, and they had much more challenges with their tarps than I ever did with mine. But that's also because I use significantly less wood. I use around 2 cords of wood a year, probably closer to 1.5 cords. Maui, come here, stay here. And so, whereas like some other homesteaders who have like a slightly larger house, they are using more like 4 or 5 cords of wood, and it's really, 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 really difficult to store that much wood without like a proper woodshed. Hi, good boy, you stay here. And so, anyway, I have less wood to store, so I'm hoping that this will be a good solution for right now. I will obviously build an actual like walls and like an actual roof and whatnot, later on. But yeah, this is where I'm hoping I can be able to store like 2 cords of wood for now, because I have a bunch of wood that I'm going to be splitting and then stacking on here to make way for other wood that I'm going to chainsaw and et cetera, then this will do for now. And because I'm running low on tarps, having most of my wood here will be easier because I can, just throw a tarp over it sort of for the meantime. But this is going to be probably where one of my wood sheds are. I may have to build another woodshed farther from the house if I'm going to, because I would like to store up to 4 cords this year, and I could probably really only fit 2 cords here if I'm lucky, but we'll see. And so, yeah, so we're just going to continue doing our work, which is splitting and stacking firewood here. It's like the world's worst Jenga. I don't really think I want to stack that much higher. I'll be sad if it comes down. I'm extremely happy with the amount of wood I got stacked today. And this isn't even all of it either. I have a whole other pile that I did this morning. And it's only noon, which is great. But my wrist is starting to get quite sore. So I'm gonna cover this up and then we're gonna go down for some lunch. Also, in other news, look what I found. It's an empty snail shell. Neat, right?